If you're the Winnipeg Jets, obviously a lot to like in the score of that game. And when they were struggling, they only had the 2 power play goals in that span of 6 games. They were ranked 22nd in the power play last season. They scored 3 with the man advantage, though, in this one. How much improved is that unit going forward for Winnipeg?
It's improved because you have 2 viable units that can go out there and get you a goal. You get the Scheifele goal, you get the Nemesnikov goal, and it doesn't feel like you have to have one unit go out there and eat up, a minute and a half, and if they don't score, the other unit's not going to be able to get on the board. It's the Nemesnikov goal that gets things started for the Jets in this game, and if you go back to last year, there were so many times, Mark, where, if Winnipeg They were offensively challenged, and the power play that you mentioned was 22nd in the NHL. It just felt like it couldn't get any traction for them. Well, that's not the case this season, where especially at home, they're over 33% on the power play. You have 2 units that can go over the boards, and tonight in this game, it's the power play that gets them going early and then leads to some of the frustration for the Bruins, and then you get more 5-on-5 goals afterwards. But, getting that power play success early on can really help your team kind of create some separation in games like this.
The Bruins had no answer for that power play. They also had no answers for Mark Scheifele.
No. Not a lot of teams do right now.
Well, so 3.9 on Tuesday. He's got a 5-game point streak. If it was a couple weeks ago, I would ask you, is he good enough to be on Team Canada for the Four Nations face-off? Unfortunately for him, we know that answer. But looking at way ahead to the playoffs, the way that he is playing, is he kind of in a place where he can be the top-line center that is better than the opposing top-line center?
He's better suited for it, for sure. And you have to think about who he's had to go up against the last 2 years. Had to go up against McKinnon last year. Eichel 2 years ago. Those are really difficult matchups to win as the #1 center. And in order to win those kinds of matchups, there has to be some kind of element to your game that makes you hard to play against. And generally, that's going to be away from the puck. All these guys are really skilled with the puck. They're going to make plays, but can you get it back? And can you be a little bit of a dog on a bone? And for me, Mark Scheifele, his game looks so much more complete than it ever has been. And that's going to be huge for the Jets come playoff time, because we know the Jets are a hard team to play against, but if Mark Scheifele, as the #1 center, is that much harder to play against, then all of a sudden, if you have to go up against McKinnon or Eichel or Hintz, or just, go down the list of #1 center that he's going to get matched up again, if he's that much harder to play against, the Jets as a team are harder to play against and have a better chance of winning that series. But he's better suited for it now than he ever has been.
A lot to like when it comes to the Winnipeg Jets. This Oilers team has now won 6 of their last 7. McDavid, Draisaitl score. Is it safe to say that finally Edmonton is going to round it into form?
Yes, and things seem to be quiet around the Edmonton Oilers. It doesn't seem like it's too high. It doesn't seem like it's too low. And the Oilers are a good defensive team, but you don't get to see how good defensively they are when Stuart Skinner struggles. Now, when he's playing the way he's been playing the last couple weeks, and especially tonight, you really get to see it. The Edmonton Oilers don't give up a ton of quality chances. And against a team like the Tampa Bay Lightning, who's the 2nd highest scoring team in the NHL, that was going to be put to the test. But Skinner plays well. The big boys get on the board. And there has been more depth scoring for the Oilers recently. But when the big boys get you one and your goaltender plays well and you're a good defensive team and you show that, sometimes that's all you're going to need. And, case in point, Connor McDavid does his thing tonight. There's not a lot of players that can score this type of goal, but you have that guy on your team. Now, you pair that up with his elite wingman in Leon Draisaitl. Hey, you get a great bounce off of Victor Hedman, but the good players generally seem to get the bounces, and then you lock it down. You lock it down defensively, and your goaltender gives you a chance to win, makes a number of key saves, especially in the 3rd period when the Tampa Bay Lightning, who can score, were pushing. That's a good game for the Oilers. And things remain quiet around that group. It's not too high. It's not too low. There's not a lot of glaring issues with that team. They're just kind of rounding into form, doing their thing.
Finding different ways to win, too. That's the first time they've won a game this year where they haven't scored at least 3 goals.